All right, now to a case that has a lot of people asking questions. It's from Valdosta, Georgia. In January, 17-year-old Kendrick Johnson was found dead upside down in the center of a rolled cheerleading mat in his high school's gym. Investigators say he was reaching into the center of the mat for a shoe, got stuck, and died. They say he accidentally smothered to death. Well, his family thinks that story is a cover-up. The paramedics report says there were bruises on his face and that the gym was considered a crime scene. Kendrick's parents say he was beaten to death.
Said there was no foul play. He had no bruises, no nothing.
Did you believe that?
No,
And you still don't believe it?
no, I don't.
The mat is so light, he could have pushed that, just rock and it would have fell over. I tried to get in it. I couldn't get no forward my neck muscles into the mat. As handsome as my son was, then you see him like that, it's crazy. I really feel he was murdered. No matter who you are, how much money your parents have, the color of your skin, everyone deserves justice.
Well, now the Department of Justice is reviewing this case. Joining me now is former FBI federal agent and private investigator Harold Cope. It's good to have you back.
Thank you, sir.
So you've read over the autopsy report, the paramedics report, all the documents, and know about this story. Let's start here with just the dimensions. County officials say that 5'10" Kendrick Johnson was reaching into this mat. It's 6 feet tall, right?
Yes.
Arm extended. His shoulders are 19 inches wide. The hole in the center is 14 inches wide. Do you find that suspicious?
I find a lot of it suspicious. And one of the things that really makes me wonder is that he's reaching for one shoe. How did that shoe get into this mat? It makes you wonder who was in there. Was there some horseplay? Did someone see it? There are more questions here than there are answers right now.
Okay, let's talk about this paramedics report. You have a copy, I have a copy.
Yes.
And let's start with this element of bruising of the face. Now, the family says they were told there were no bruises, no signs of foul play, but the paramedics report says that there was bruising noted on the right side of his jaw.
It does. And what's interesting is when you look at the autopsy report, there's no mention of any bruising. So it doesn't make any sense. Now, you might get away with that by saying maybe when he went into the mat, that bruised his face. I don't know. No one knows. But something doesn't ring true here.
Let's talk about the consideration that it's a crime scene. Is that typical if the sheriff's office is there investigating, or does someone have to tell the paramedics that this is a crime scene?
Someone had to tell him it was a crime scene. So there was a school resource officer on the scene. You would think by the time the medics got there, police were already there. I suspect the body was pulled out initially, looked at, because they made certain determination about eye movement, things like this. They couldn't have done that if the body was stuffed down in this mat. Again, a lot more questions than there are answers.
One more thing, and we discussed this right before we came on. It says that a 17-year-old male, they received a call that a 17-year-old male was complaining of cardiac arrest. I've listened to the 911 calls. They say that he was dead when they found him. How would that make it into this report?
Doesn't make any sense. How could it be a cardiac arrest? Possibly they just put that down as standard language. Until you interview those people, you don't know.
One other thing, the coroner, county elected official, constitutional officer, as is the sheriff, he's been very vocal about this case leading up to the release of this report. He says that he was supposed to be called as soon as a body was found. He was called 5 hours later. I also want you to hear what he told our affiliate WCTV in April.
I don't know what the county did when they got there on the scene. The body had been moved. The scene, in my opinion, had been compromised.
I found that to be amazingly unusual for two constitutional officers in an investigation to go head-to-head on something like this.
Very much so. And the scene was compromised. There's no doubt about it. Now, the question is, did anyone take any crime scene photos upon initial entry? And what were the written statements on the paramedics? We don't know that yet.
I got two things I got to get to. He sent the coroner, Bill Watson, sent me an email after we did an interview, and he said something similar. I want to put up part of that email. He told me through this email, I would appreciate it if you would destroy this interview with me. I do not want this to be shown whatsoever. I feel that our situation should not be aired. Of course, CNN decided that we would air it. I called to ask why. He said that this just needs to end. It's gone too far. Final question. Are there enough questions here that if you were the person deciding for DOJ, should there be an investigation opened into this investigation of the death?
Definitely.